And you have to really fully explain and really get buy-in to clients because they want that. They don't want just that slap on the butt, send them on their way.
Right.
They really want to know that you took the time to actually do your job and make sure you've exhausted every effort.
Trust is everything.
100%.
Welcome to the episode of The Closing Table, my friend.
Yeah, excited to be on here.
Tim Schnautz.
Yes.
Phoenix, Arizona. I believe I've known you for what, 13 years now?
Yeah, probably about that.
Something like that?
Yeah, I would guess so.
I would guess so. I remember the first day we met.
Yeah.
Remember? John had me go around.
Yeah, that uncomfortable interview.
That uncomfortable interview and meet each originator.
Yeah. And you got ripped up by the other LOs and then we fought for...
And then I met you. Yeah. And I'm like, hi, Tim, I'm Haley. And you're like, great, sounds good, wonderful, nice to meet you. I don't think you asked me any questions.
I don't think I did.
You maybe asked me one. And then we just moved right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were my favorite. I'm like, wow, I like that guy from the get-go. He moves quick.
Yeah.
And then little did I know how quick you move. Tim Schnautz, leading top producer here at Fairway and in the industry as a whole. I think I would say if I was to put one word with how you do business is fast.
Yeah.
Like you're the epitome of speed to respond. One of our core values here at Fairway.
Yeah.
So it's just fitting, friends, as we are sitting here at the closing table talking about somebody who closes all day long. I would say one of the secret ingredients is your speed.
I think so too. Like with our team, our response time is usually like 5 minutes or less for a phone call, email. And it's cool. It impresses people when you respond in like 30 seconds to an email.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're shocked by it.
Yeah.
Especially like email and stuff. It's like, oh, somebody's not going to get back that quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it impresses.
Tim does.
I do. I try.
Try
most of the time. Yeah.
And so we're going to talk about all the things today. And I just really want to say thank you for honestly being my first guest here at the closing table. And we're just gonna rattle off some things.
I'm excited. I'm honored. Caught off guard. It's gonna be fun now. I like these things. So this will be a good time.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So happy to be your first on the podcast.
On the podcast. I'm still trying to get like used to this chair over here. I'm awfully short, Tim. You know? Like,
same here.
Tim, how tall are you?
6'5".
For anybody listening,
I round down. It's like 6'5 3/4, but I don't want to be that guy that's like, I'm 6'5 3/4 because then people are like, oh, you wish you were 6'6". So I just say 6'5 and just leave it at that.
Just leave it at that.
Yeah.
But you're just about 6'6". Well, I'm on the complete opposite end. I tell everybody I'm 5'3", and I'm really 5'2 and a half, maybe.
Yeah, it's the same thing as me. Just round down.
Here we are. You're moving quick. You're a top producer.
Yeah.
Been originating for how long?
Been originating. I've been in the industry since 2000. It started really originating back in 2008 for home mortgage. Did a lot of in home equity, part of 2008, 2009. And, in my early stages, I was everywhere. Yeah, I think I participated in almost every aspect of the industry, both HELOC and home mortgage. Originating home mortgage and in this side really heavily since 2008, 2009, somewhere around there.
Okay, so 2008, 2009, and then fast forward all the way till ending 2024.
Yeah.
Numbers, I believe, like top 3 teams here at Fairway, in a really tough market. And you closed the year with 110 million?
110 million, yeah.
Wow.
Over
Congratulations.
It was cool. It was a cool year.
Congratulations.
It was a hard year, but thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, I think sometimes
happy with those numbers.
Numbers just get rattled off and stuff, but we like don't take a minute to sit and like truly say congratulations, because that is anybody who's listening and watching and in this industry knows that is hard, that is tough, and that is, a lot of things to get to 110. And I just want to ask you what some of the glaring things in a tough market that got you there. I mean, we talked about speed, right? And I feel like that's almost your brand.
Yeah.
If it's not your brand, we should make it your brand, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to incorporate that somehow into your brand.
Because that's what we're all about is speed. But yeah, it's not everything. I mean, just being quick on the phone and being quick to respond to emails and everything. I know what you mean.
And then what else would you say? Like, let's identify 3. But maybe start with the first thing that jumps out, because we know you don't do this alone.
Yeah.
Right? You're not closing $110 million by yourself. It's a team. So 3 things we're going to talk about that make up the Tim Schnautz team.
Yeah.
Right? That led you to where you are today and what led you to a successful year in the mortgage industry in a tough year. So what is like one of the things that jumps out to you that you guys did in order to just like keep going?
Yeah. So, I mean, a big thing, obviously it's about creating relationships and keeping relationships. The more people you impress, the more business you get. So I would say, you know, when it comes down to handling the volume, there's a lot that goes into it as far as practices and our processes and our service level commitment. I have a full sheet that is dedicated to like sharing with our partners, you know, this is what we do. We send LSUs, small part out every day or every week on this date. And this is our response time to any email. This is where we connect with the client. This is what we will do throughout any process and what we'll provide you or the client throughout the process. But I would say the biggest thing to building these relationships and connecting is not only speed, but most importantly, availability. So that's what I think separates,
that.
Yeah, it's what separates us from other markets, right? If you go to other markets in the United States, right? We're one of the most competitive markets. And there's a few other cities that are like that. You know, when do they work? They work from 9 to 5, right? And they don't work on Sunday and they don't work on Saturday. And if you leave a message after 3 o'clock, you'll get a call back the next day, or you'll get a call back within 24 hours, right? Adapting to that need where you have to be available and that response, right? Of 15 minutes. It's not just between 9 and 5. It's every single day. Or having a piece of your network that's available. So we always have somebody on call within our team, whether it's Saturday or Sunday. In the evenings, we work till 8 o'clock. We try to always get back to someone when they need it. And that's been huge. And individual loan officers will always struggle with that. I would struggle with it if I were an individual loan officer. Having a team structure with a team set standard, that we all follow is what allows us to make sure that we're always available. And that's a huge piece because
systems following schedule.
Exactly. Having all that dialed in. I mean, you can pick up a deal where another loan officer dropped the ball, or it's Saturday and they need to write an offer and get numbers and there's nowhere to be found. You know, sometimes we're used just to get that pre-qual, but sometimes we're able to capture that business because their age or their loan officer, their lender wasn't available. So we get that whack, that shot at their business. And we don't always get it, but it's one step to being there. And just knowing that like with any referral, that they can count on us anytime. That's what keeps a relationship, is what builds the relationship.
Really great point.
Yeah. Because if you're not available and they need something, well, they're going to talk to the next guy and that next guy could be their new guy.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a big piece out of building our referral network that helps grow the numbers.
Is availability.
Availability.
And I think we hear a lot of people talk all the time about speed and consistency. But you don't always hear the word availability coming up. You know, they'll say, oh, we're available 7 days a week, but they're not highlighting that is truly one of the pieces that separates you from the competition.
Yeah, and people that do usually tout that they're available 7 days a week aren't. Because I hear that all the time.
I'm sure you do.
Availability on people being available all the time, but then they're not when it's needed, right? When it's important, they just are out doing something. So yeah, we have a process. We have our little network or team that's set to truly be available, and we utilize each other when we're not available because we do have lives. Like I have 2 kids, you know, that I have an 8-year-old and a 7-year-old. I can't always be available, but I do have a way to make sure someone's always available. I also look at my phone all the time to make sure I'm getting it to someone, but
so 3 things that like made your year 2024 $110 million.
Yeah.
One was availability.
Yeah.
What would you attribute the second to?
Probably knowledge, guideline knowledge. So we know how to get loans done that other people don't know how to get done. I know that's easy to say, but we truly do. Because of, you know, Fairway Mortgage, Mortgage, #1 mortgage company, I think, in the country. We have such flexibility on doing loans. So we're able to do loans that other people would turn down, and we're able to make it easier, where it helps to continue to build that relationship and get that referral. because it wasn't a nightmare.
Yeah.
Because again, we're pretty easy to work with. Our underwriting is super easy to work with.
Absolutely. Hats off to them. My goodness.
Yeah, we do loans sometimes where I'm like, how do we do that?
Yeah.
It's because we have our underwriting that's working through it. And then, our guideline knowledge. So I can get a call and they can ask a question and I can 95% of the time answer that question right away.
Yeah.
So I have so many names. I can list off all of my nicknames. There's probably about 1,000 of them. But a big one that I've gotten quite a few times is Rain Man. Probably because I talk kind of like Rain Man or Rain Man.
Like we're talking right
in
now.
a movie. Yeah, but I talk fast but I tend to get very passionate when it comes to guideline product knowledge.
Yeah.
Because it's really what I base my
one of the things, and not to interrupt you, but one of the things when you're talking about, knowledge being one of the second things that got you to where you are. When I think of you and your brand, I do think of speed and I do think of resourcefulness. Like you always have the answer.
Yeah.
I know that I personally, over the years, have come to you, I don't know how many times, and just been like, hey, can you confirm? Hey, is this correct? And not often, if any, can I even name on one hand, where you will say, I do not know.
Yeah.
And if you don't actually know the answer, you know exactly where to find it. But I think it's because you've spent so much time doing the work yourself to educate yourself and become resourceful has given you all that knowledge. Where you hear a lot of other lenders, they will just go to the branch manager, or they're just going to go out and research it themselves. Or really, I should just, no knock to anybody, but, they're not taking the time to learn like I know you have. And so I just love that we're talking about that. Was it because you learned by making a few mistakes?
Yeah. Mistakes, right?
That led to that.
We've always been a high producing team. And now amongst the loan officers, I actually have my hand in really every loan we do. I know every loan that we handle. I'm not just having them run with it. So I know all of the problems. And we've been doing this for so long where I've seen and touched and felt so many loans where eventually it becomes second nature. I mean, if you're only working on 3 or 4 loans, and even if you have a team, even if you are doing serious volume, if you're just out of the loop on the loans, you're not constantly learning. And we know this business is like always evolving, right? We have guideline changes almost every month, if not greater than that. So if you're not constantly doing loans and paying attention to the guideline changes and learning from, mistakes, because we're always going to make mistakes, unfortunately. But if you're not always learning from that, well, you become really lost quick because you're not in it. So absolutely always learning, but it really helps when you have that volume and you're always looking at very, very tough scenarios. So we work on really hard loans. A lot of turn down business, the nature of our business, and we can talk about that more if you want, but a lot of really hard loans that other people don't do or have turned down. And that helps you learn, learn how to fit in a guideline that is hard to fit or hard to justify. Guideline knowledge, and also being able to speak intelligently to guideline and to the loan process is pretty huge, because I've heard it from other loan officers when they're talking with a client or they're talking with a real estate agent and they ask that hard question or they have that tough scenario. Well, you can see when someone's trying to wing it, right? Yeah. And they're trying to tell you maybe what you want to hear, or maybe something that sounds good or gets them a pass, but you don't really build that trust and confidence. And when you, again, do enough business and you're able to rattle out guideline and knowledge about a product or knowledge about maybe a decline, right? Because sometimes we can't do every loan, and you have to really fully explain why you can't do that loan and really get buy-in to clients, because they want that. They don't want just that slap on the butt, send them on their way. Right. They really want to know that you took the time to actually do your job and make sure you've exhausted every effort. And then the same thing with your real estate agent. Again, that builds trust, and it gets that continued referral business, that you're not just cherry picking, sending anyone on that doesn't fit the box, which is a lot of big bank stuff, right?
Right.
You don't fit the box, they send you on, and sometimes they don't even give you an explanation as to why they're denying you. They give you a piece of paper that says, unfortunately, you're denied for financing, or there's a counter where we can give you up to $100,000 loan, but they don't tell you exactly why. They don't explain DTI and everything they've done or that you've done, you've examined, or looked at in order to qualify. So I think
I love that
knowledge
because you're right.
huge.
Because, trust is everything.
100%.
Especially coming off of, I know it was a few years back, but COVID, right? There was just so much information. Rates were so low. Like there was a lot going on.
Yeah.
News, media, people didn't know where to turn, who to trust, what was going on, especially over 2023 and last year. Yeah. And when you share that knowledge and have that knowledge and you create that trust, I know that's why you're top in the industry, right?
I like to think so.
I like to think so too, but love that we talked about knowledge because that is, this is great. So we're really doing a brand discovery right now, Tim.
I think so.
Friends, this is what we're doing here. We're really honing in, even though you have a fantastic brand, but it's so fun to really talk about the things of speed, of availability, knowledge. And I do want to go back to, the turn down business and everything you do. Yeah. But what's one other thing you would attribute 2024 to? I already know that answer for you, but I want to hear from you. Like when you think back last year, you're in February, you're in March, and you're just like, how are we just going to keep rolling as a tight unit, a team, to get to these goals and to serve as many families as you've been able to serve?
I don't know what you're thinking. So you said you know the answer. Now, what I like to, and what I built everything on, and what has been the key part in growth from the beginning. And I'm not just talking about, joining, our previous mortgage company, coming under John Tobias, who's like my mentor, and he's really helped, him and my brother have helped my career so much and catapulted in this direction. Obviously, I owe everything to those guys and you, Haley, from the original days and what you guys have done. But really what it comes down to is busting our ass every single day.
There it is. I knew it.
Is that what you were thinking?
Yes.
Okay, because that's what it really comes down to.
Hard work. Yeah. I just love that word that you brought that up because I was going to bring it up. But so many times people think like numbers and they're going to get there and they're going to get there. And I know a lot of producers, they understand that it's all going to be grit and it's all going to be hard work. Yeah. But you don't cut corners. I
don't think so. Yeah.
I don't think so. Like you're still showing up to the office all the time. Yeah. Like you're making the team or, not making the team, but making sure that the team understands the dynamic of how powerful you can be when you are in the branch together and you're able to fire like that. And that all equates to hard work.
Yeah, I don't want to completely discredit the world of remote because I have some partners and they work remotely and they do it successfully. But we come to the office, we huddle together, we bounce things off each other. I try to be, if I'm not at the office by 7:30, I'm late. I try to be at the office by 7 or 6:30 because that's where I'm able to get in, plan my day out, and then really knock out whatever I can before the phone starts ringing. And then the real thing is, John used to always say this, and he still says it, whenever there's like a holiday and we're cutting out early, if you really have completed everything on your plate and accomplished everything, check out early. Well, I don't think there's really ever a time in our lives. And if there is a time where you've accomplished everything you can possibly do, well, then you got to figure out how to be doing more, right? Pushing yourself to the limit. But staying until it's all done, not cutting loose to go, whatever you might do, happy hour or... sometimes it is spending time with my family, and I will occasionally leave early for that, but I try my damnedest to get in early.
But you have a habit of consistency and you have a huge habit of hard work. Yeah. And I love that. I look at so many other top producers here at Fairway and in the industry, and it's just, you don't get there by cutting corners and you don't get there by, just deciding to go vacation for the summer and X, Y, and Z, even though we're all taking vacations and I get that. That's not what I'm saying at all. But, I think sometimes people, they want to get to a certain point in their career and they want to do that. Yeah. And I feel like right now with where the market's at, like you have to continue to put in the hard work.
Yeah, 9 to 5 doesn't work. Yeah. That's not enough hours in a day in order to really achieve everything that you want to do. Because even when you're done for the day, there's stuff you can be doing.
And I love that you just said that too, that achieve what you want to do. Yeah. I was talking earlier today about, goals. And, when we talk about motivating people and we talk about the things that are going to help them move the needle in their business and everything, it's not just like want to be number one and want to have the most success or, equate it to money. It's whatever is success for you, whatever the goals are for you. And I just think there needs to be more narratives spent around that because it's going to look different for everybody else, and I think I just love that you always do what's best for you and what you're trying to obtain and the goals. You're not competing against anybody else.
Yeah, I try to keep away from the scoreboard. I try to keep away from any of that. I'm not keeping away from the Joneses. People do talk about, oh, look at what this guy's doing over there.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think there's something to maybe learn from it.
Absolutely.
But it's definitely not to get caught in that. We're in an industry, both mortgage, real estate, where it's constantly you're trying to keep up with the guy next to you, or you're always in a race. And the race is almost like destructive, right? Because when you get in the front, there's only one place you can go. Unfortunately, back. So now you're always racing for people to catch up to you. And that can almost like ruin you where you're always like,
and I'm sure there's probably several people listening right now that would 100% agree with that.
I think most anybody would. So getting rid of that and then just like focusing on, the processes, your goals and so forth. I think that's where you start to excel. When you're, I don't know if anyone says, but when you're no longer focused on hitting a certain volume goal or making a certain amount of money, and that doesn't matter as much, I think that's where you tend to make more money or you do more volume because you're more now focused on actually doing loans, right?
Correct.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm
no. I
so
don't think
call
so.
me out and be like, you're so dumb. I feel
I'm sure we'll hear about it, right?
Yeah, I'm sure. Well,
I'm sure there'll be a comment or two if that's the case. But when you just said hard loans, let's go back to what it does your book of business look like?
Yeah. So we have a great builder relationship and I'm so thankful for our builder relationship.
Let's go, Bob. Saw him last week. It's so fantastic.
Those guys are huge to me. And, they are a big part of what we do. And we started out with this build. I don't want to name names. I don't want to drop a names. I would hate outside of Bob because Bob's the man. But I know all of them over there are awesome. So we started out in this market here in Phoenix with a builder, and through hard work, word of mouth, it spread to other markets. So that's been great. So we obviously have a good mix of resale business and new build business. So the new build stuff is where we get kind of crazy. We're doing like non-QM loans, non-qualified mortgages. It's like bank statement loans.
Yeah, I was just gonna say for maybe somebody people listening who isn't aware what non-QM is.
We'll just say non-cookie cutter loans. They're really tough stuff. So we do a lot of that with them, and we do a lot of things that don't traditionally meet guidelines. So these loans have been turned down by the builder. And I don't want to say that they're my only book of business, but I'm going to focus on this right now. They're turned down by them. So we already know that it did not fit their box. Now they're a little tighter, but some of those folks have also been turned down by another one. And we get resale transactions. We're closing one right now with, I will drop this name, with Rocket, right?
Okay.
So Rocket actually got these people under contract and they turned them down. We're about to close. We're our CDC. We're about to close on this thing in 2 days because it's about getting, knowing guideline to get the deal done. So we have a lot of experience in that. That's where I like to turn down business, right? Because a lot of people say, send me your turn down.
And they don't know what they're saying.
They don't know what they're saying. They don't have like this huge history of dealing with all of the hard loans where I can say, I want your turn down because I'm actually closing 4, 5, 6 turn down loans this month, and I closed 6 last month, and the month before, and the month before. All of these loans that somebody else said that they could not do, that we were able to find a program for, a product for. So,
I'll just go ahead and interrupt because, longevity is something that you have in this business, right? You've been doing it for a long time. You've been doing it consistently for a long time. And when I hear every time turn down, reminds me of the newsletter that we used to send out, and it had like the little ambulance at the top, right? And it was just like got their attention. So it's just always for me when we're talking and when we're rapping, and I'm like, man, 12 years ago, 13 years ago, these were marketing tactics that we used to do.
Yeah.
It was part of our marketing strategy that we do your turn down loans, but to hear where it is.
Now it's part of the business.
And now it's part of the business.
It's the business.
And then other builders are hearing that, you know, the Tim Schnautz team is fantastic at turn down business for the builders. It continues to spread, but it continues to go back to consistency and go back to like, you stuck with it, kept doing it, and over and over again. Because so many times people are changing up their marketing plan or changing up their marketing strategy or their book of business strategy or who they're going after. And you just continue to fine tune it and then let the business speak for itself.
Yeah.
Introductions come up, new opportunities come up.
Yep. I agree.
Is that something that you want to continue? Obviously, or you want to continue to play in that builder space?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's a huge part of what we do, and it's a part that I love, and it's part that we've done so long.
Yeah.
You know, we've been working with our partner for probably 15 years at this point. So that's a long relationship, a lot of knowledge, and you kind of learn how to deal with that side of the business where you really don't know much about it if you don't deal with it. I mean, the personalities are different in the builder world. The clients, their emotions are so much different in the builder world, where if you're in it all the time, it becomes part of you, we'll say. So absolutely, I want to continue.
Okay, so speaking of
that, but I also love resale business. I mean, we love our real estate agent partners. We've been working with partners. It's been a huge piece of our numbers and our business from day one, right? And so I both of them are equal. I don't love one over the other.
Okay, so I'm going to flip the script a little bit because now we've been talking about your business for a while. We've been talking about the 4 things that make up the Tim Schnautz team, but let's talk about you.
Okay.
Tim.
All right.
Okay. What do you do? Because this is something that people talk about all the time, right? Like, this business is so stressful.
Yeah.
I can't handle it. Like, what are some of the things that you do to unwind at night or on the weekends? Like who's Tim? Because I know people listening to this, right? Like, because Tim doesn't get out on video and social as much as I
should be,
as you should be. Yeah. But I want to take this opportunity to just like talk about you for a minute so people can get to understand you, because I've heard, working so closely with you all these years.
You know me.
You know, I know you. But people are like, oh man, I was so intimidated by Tim the first time I met him.
I don't know why, but yeah, that's like a resounding thing.
It's like a resounding thing. It's
energy or something.
Or maybe like you walk really fast and it's just like one track mind. Like, but that's who you are. But I'm like, don't be intimidated by him. He's like, honestly, one of the nicest guys you can meet who cares a ton and is like always here to help. AKA you jumping in and being the first guest. But, you know, just what are some of the things that you love to do on the weekends with your beautiful family, or just like fun fact about Tim? Like, got a pretty funny personality as well. I mean, like, you got some one-liners in there.
Sometimes I have like this horrible sense of humor. People just look at me like I'm stupid, but it's cool. I sometimes feel it. So what do? I mean, I don't do... Everything I do is really focused around, I'd say, my family, right?
Yeah.
So I have a 7-year-old and 8-year-old. My little girl is 8. My little boy is 7. Little Danica, my babies. My biggest thing is obviously getting home. I always try to get home, spend at least an hour with them before bedtime, do a little bit of homework. I do real dad stuff.
Yeah.
And I try to never miss that. So weekdays are pretty much taken. Now, big into my church. You know that about that.
I sure do.
And so I not only coach, but it's a big part, right? I coach soccer and football through the church. So,
and this is like a new Tim, right? I mean, like over the last couple of years, that has emerged.
And
I love that you're
older. I'm able to kind of do things, and life experiences, right? I've had some significant stuff in my life, just like everybody else.
Yeah,
that has pointed me in a path that is like way better than the place I was probably 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
Right. So,
proud of you.
So coaching, that's probably what I do during the week. And then the weekends, man, it's, we go to service. I coach the kids in your first and second graders. So I coach children every weekend, and then we do the fun stuff. My kids always want to do the fun stuff. That's what my boy calls it. Let's do fun stuff.
I remember you saying this before.
Yeah, so you'll hear me say the fun stuff.
Well, the reason too that I love talking about this is because a lot of times you'll listen to podcasts of top performers, or you'll go to conferences and you'll hear, and like, you'll just like have this super alpha male or female that is like, I wake up every morning at 4 a.m. and all of that's fine and great, right? And then this is the time I go to bed, and then on the weekends, and then I'm hiking to the top of Mount Everest, and I'm doing, like,
that'd be cool.
I know, it's super cool. But like, some people are just like so regimented that I think then it's hard to relate, right? Because they have like real life stuff going on in between it. Yeah. And that's why I just thought it was like, wanted to take a minute to talk about you and what you enjoy and what you do, because not every top producer closing over 100 million or higher is like living this, crazy regimented life. I mean, you know what you're doing Monday through Friday and what time you're coming into the office. But, I've spent my fair share out on the conference circuit listening to all kinds of people talk. And I love hearing from absolutely everyone. But sometimes the rhetoric just is unrelatable.
Yeah.
And I just know that I just thought it was cool to talk about that for a second.
Yeah, when I hear people talking about that sort of thing, I'm just like so impressed. Part of me is like, bullshit. But then
part of me is like, I'm gonna call you out really quick. But then you're like,
but if they are, I mean, how intense would that be? And I don't know, I'm not that level. And maybe I was at one time, because I remember the time like when I talk about, busting butt all the time, we were coming in at 6, staying until 9 in my early days. Geez. I mean, that was just like the normal. So many hours every single day. Yeah. And then the weekend where I didn't have a team or relief, I was like always working. And it's so hard on marriage.
Right.
We all do that. It's so hard on relationships. It's hard on your stress and your well-being.
Yeah.
So sometimes my life is like that, where it's just boom, 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 boom. But I tried to get away. But also at the same time, I feel like, if you don't already have something planned, you should. And that's how if for some reason it always ends up, I don't have anything going on this weekend, so let's fit in this. Let's fit in this. And next thing you know, you're going back to back doing fun stuff.
So I had a conversation just recently over the weekend with somebody who plays in the NFL, right? So they're a high performer, they're an athlete, and we were talking same position as my son played forever, right? So he was a center. So I was like, oh yeah, you're a center. I love centers, my heart, right? Like I shared my heart out for my Reese forever. And we were just rapping about that. And I talked about how Reese's season ended with a broken foot, senior year, so tough as a mom to watch. You can't fix it, but Reese wouldn't come off the field. And he was just like, you didn't raise a bleep, Mom, I'm good. And the gentleman I was talking to, he was just like, yes. He's like, because you're in the trenches. He's like, you don't get anywhere without being in the dirt, And like, we just had this really fun conversation. And I know like Gary Vee talks about it, dirt and clouds, right? But just listening to you say 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., this and that, like there are sacrifices that all of us are going to have to make at some point in our life, that where you are with beautiful family, your kids, coaching sports and everything, and a very successful career didn't just happen overnight.
No.
And didn't just happen with a handout, and didn't just happen with somebody telling you this is exactly how you need to do it. Like you had to feel it, you had to go through it, you had to show up. And I'm just so proud of you, because not everybody's willing to make those, sacrifices day in and day out. And you just never gave up.
Yeah, luckily, obviously, I'm darn near 45.
Darn near
45, and my children are 7, 8. So obviously we got started late. So I had a good, what does that come to? 17 years in this industry, where it was just me. And I got married probably I've been married over married a long time. I think I'm coming up on 15 years.
You should have that number dialed, Tim.
I should.
You should have that number dialed.
I should. No, it's actually coming up on 16 years.
There we go.
Just had our fifth whatever.
But
So I had a few years in the early stages of growing the business with just me, myself.
Yeah.
I'm young. And then it was just me and my wife. So we had a lot of those times where I was able to, fortunately, in our career, I had a good 15 years of being able to, just bust butt and work that 9 to.
So now that you've done that, what's next for Tim? Like what are you thinking? Because what's going to drive you for 2025? So we talked about the things that make the team successful, talk about who you are, but what's going to keep you going? And like, what is the next thing that is really like, this is it. This is kind of what I'm going after. Because like you said, we all have to have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And you're looking at me like, are you really asking me this question
You're
right now?
asking me to like say this right now.
But you don't have to say it. But I mean, is it production? Is it freedom? Like both?
Yeah, I want freedom. So work-wise, I mean, I've always been very passionate about the team. I put the team first, put it before me. When the times are tight, I make sure that they're still fed where I might starve. It's just part of my nature. So I've always been about building up our team of loan officers, business development manager, all of it to make sure they're comfortable. So I want to focus on that, right? The team first.
Yeah.
We want a 15% increase in volume.
Okay.
That's our goal for 2025.
Okay.
But I also want to help other people, right? I have a lot of loan officers out there that are hurting right now. It's a tough market.
Yeah.
And I know how to help a loan officer get from doing one transaction to two transactions, 3 transactions. So that's really a big part.
So this is the first for me that I'm hearing.
Yeah, well, we talked a little bit about recruiting, right?
Yes,
and what to do.
We did.
And it comes from that. I want to be able to help and obviously grow something bigger than just the team. It'll be part of the team, but also helping individual loan officers overcome this market.
Okay.
So I want to bring on a few loan officers to the team that are outside of our team core production and really help them with our processes, our tools, right?
Yeah.
We have resources, our production manager, Ruthie, very close to me. And I want to show everybody what we've done, what we do, and what makes it easy. So that's a big piece. Now, this year, obviously, I want to spend more time with my children while doing it, which is such a screwed up concept, right? I want to grow at the same time of kind of separate and do some more stuff with my kids.
If we don't know how to complicate our lives, right? Like we're really great at that. Like I want this goal, but then I also want this goal, but that's okay because you can obtain both.
Yeah, it's just
I think that so many times people just think it's one or the other, and there might be years that it might be a little bit more work focus centric, but like where you are now, when you say, gosh darn 45, like you're at the place where you can do both.
Yeah, I think so.
Like mentally, if we're not new to the game, you're not new to the game, like you can figure out how to do both. And I think that's super exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And that's what I want to do. I want to, my kids are 7 and 8, right? Yeah. You know it, you saw it. They're going to be moving away to college. Sad times, right? I know. You're going to start crying thinking about it. It makes me cry. I'm going to cry thinking about
I'm doing better these days, but I will tell you what, it happens in literally a blink of an eye. Yeah. And I feel like an old lady saying that because so many people told me that. And I'm like, no way. It's still 10 more years to go. Yeah. Right. And it's insane how quick 10 years goes or whatever number it is.
But, so that's what I look forward to. Spending more time.
Can I ask you one last question?
Yeah.
Will you come back some other time and join me?
I would love to come back anytime. I'm so honored to be the first. And anytime you want to talk more about any other subjects, I think it'd be fun.
Because there's so many we haven't.
Just doing this. So I think we just touched it. Yeah, we haven't talked about. I mean, I want to talk about more.
Yeah.
So we started talking about my builder business, resale business. And what we didn't get into is what our foundation was and how we have helped so many real estate agents, how you have helped so many real estate agents and been an instrumental part to our business and how we stay in front of our partners I mean, I could have done any of that and grown our resale and real estate agent relationships without you and your team and everything that you created. So why don't you have me back on the next one?
Okay.
And we can talk more about that or anything else you want to talk about.
You're just so great and fantastic. And I will tell you, I was a little nervous getting this all kicked off, right? The last couple of weeks, running through everything in my head, but like sitting at this table, the closing table, and having this kind of conversation and just reflecting on how far we both have come and how much more there is to come. And many topics we need to talk about. I just have so much gratitude for you, Tim. And I just, I'm proud of you and I can't wait for you to come back. And thanks for leaning into this beautiful room that we're now, now a part of our strategy here and business. But if you enjoyed listening to the episode, make sure you like it and subscribe it and leave a review. And we will talk soon, my friends.
Forward to it.
Aloha.